And now, our favorite part of the show, the choices of the voices.
Once again, thank you to the wonderful and ever so lovely Miss Button for introducing our favorite portion of the show. Man, you heard the woman. It's the choices of the voices segment of our show. Oh, I forgot to do something, fellas. Let's go ahead and wave to all of our listeners. Hey, y'all. Do y'all see us? Because we sure see you watching us. Well, not really, but you understand. Like Sammy Sosa, nah. Very, very good to me. You know what the hell I mean. You know how we do it. We ask you a question. Y'all give us some answers. And from the looks of it, Be Live, we're going to pick at them. But before we dive too far deep into it, Scotty D, what's the question for this week's Choices of the Voices?
All right. So this week, in the spirit of college basketball, I asked you, the listener, to name us your Mount Rushmore of college basketball players. And it's my fault because it's basketball. I should have said, give me your starting five, but guys, we're having some problems. Who's on Mount Rushmore? Do we know? Let's list them. George Washington.
1,
Thomas Jefferson.
2,
Abraham Lincoln.
3,
Theodore Roosevelt.
4.
Donald Trump. 5. I guess that's how we got to this. Anyway, some of you gave us like 1. Some gave us 2. Some gave us 5s. Mount Rushmore's 4. We didn't have this problem before. We did a Mount Rushmore question before, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah. So anyway, my bad. I should have asked you for your starting 5. But anyway, we got more than 4. But we got some good answers out there, Eddie. I liked seeing the variety of answers we got. Tell us what we got there, Eddie. Cool.
Yeah, the whole game came through this time. All right, we got Joe Turner. He said, "What in the heck?" I guess. David Thompson of North Carolina State, Michael Jordan of the University of North Carolina, Christian Laettner from Duke, and Patrick Ewing of Georgetown. All national champs, all the best players on the best teams for 3 years each, all national players of the year as well, too. That's pretty damn solid.
Yeah, good picks there, Joel. Thank you.
Yeah, pretty damn solid. All right, moving right along. We got Sean Connors. He said, I don't know if he was the best, but I think Shaq might have been the most dominant college player I can remember watching. I watched Iverson play at the Garden once, and seeing him live was pretty incredible. I think he dropped 50 on St. John's when Felipe Lopez was supposedly going to be the next great thing. Okay, so Sean Connors gave us 2. He gave us Iverson and Shaq.
Yeah, 2 good ones. You know, when you think of Shaq, you don't think of a great college career. I think he was only there 2 years and didn't have great teams around him. So, but I mean, obviously dominant because everybody wanted him. Everybody knew we need Shaq to take us to the next level. And Felipe Lopez, man, I remember that dude was supposed to be like the best college player in the country, and he just kind of never lived up to expectations. But Iverson sure did.
Yeah, Felipe Lopez fizzled out very, very fast. Let's see who's next on the list. Uncle Max, he said Pistol Pete Maravich of LSU, Danny Manning of the University of Kansas. We got another one for Christian Laettner from Duke, and Elvin Hayes of the University of Houston, a.k.a. U of H. Maravich, Manning, Laettner, and Hayes.
Go ahead, be live.
Pistol Pete, I've absolutely, of course, I didn't see him. I mean, the only uncle, but you know what? My bad.
He's about to do it.
But Pistol Pete,
I was passing it off to you.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I seen what you set me up right there. You set me up. You knew what I was going to do. But no, Pistol Pete Maravich, my goodness, didn't he average 40 points a game?
And this
was without a 3-point line. Let's put that in perspective. He averaged 40 points a game with no 3-pointers. That's ridiculous numbers. So that much respect to this list from Uncle Max. And like I said,
on film, he looks sick too. Pistol Pete, you ever watch his films? I mean, he looks like a mix jam tape kind of basketball player ahead of his time. I mean, he was nasty.
Oh yeah, Pistol Pete. I would compare him to Jason Williams of years back.
Yep. But way better.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But yeah, he was definitely a highlight reel when he was handling the basketball.
Yeah,
certainly he who is this on the court? And what was he? What? Pistol Pete. Yes, he's that dude. Oh yeah, these are great answers from Uncle Max. Definitely much respect.
Uncle Max, the Sports Bros Podcast Hall of Famer of Choices of the Voices, Uncle Max.
We thank you.
Exactly. If we're going to say his name, we're going to say that damn thing right. Moving right along, we got our big brother here to the podcast, JR Speaks, and he says Tim Duncan of Wake Forest, Grant Hill of Duke, Allen Iverson of Georgetown, and Kimbo Walker of UConn.
4 good picks, man. I like all those.
Absolutely. There's not too many times I agree with JR, but it is. And of course, in JR's true fashion, he doesn't pick any player from North Carolina because he's just as salty as can be. And now I have the opportunity on the air, because he is a diehard Duke fan in college basketball, that UNC swept them this year. So the broom is out. Oh, how the tables have turned.
And Pitt beat him too.
Wow.
Yeah.
Anybody else want pieces and parts of Duke? Because they just giving it to everybody.
Might as well jump them while they're down, all right?
Might as well. Let me go call them Gamecocks of mine. They might try to put up a fight against them. I don't know.
No. The Gamecocks in men's basketball like 6-15. Stop it.
Yeah.
Cut it out.
Yeah,
let it go. Maybe the women could beat Duke this year.
Probably. Yeah.
The South Carolina women's team again. Respect. That didn't even taste right on my mouth. I'm sorry. I digress. Yeah, y'all see all the orange. Y'all, those that I'm looking at. Yeah, I said that. All right, we're gonna move on.
All right. Enough of me acting like I'm 5 and me and Beeline fight like we're blood brothers. Moving right along, we got Will Georgia. He said, in my viewing lifetime, 1985, I'd go Patrick Ewing, Tim Duncan, another one for Christian Laettner, and my man Tyler Hansborough.
I was waiting for somebody to pick him, and it was a Tar Heel fan that did. But Hansborough had a pretty stellar college career. I think, didn't he actually, when he left, wasn't he the ACC's all-time leading scorer? Was he up there? I think he was close. If not, he was among the top. But he was a grinder. I never thought he was like overly skilled, but he was just like a hard-nosed player that would get in and grind it, mix it up, grab rebounds, tussle in the paint. So it's just surprising that North Carolina person, that would be the pick out of all the great Tar Heel players that have come through the years. That would be the pick. But I mean, his career was nothing to laugh at. I mean, Tyler Hansborough had an outstanding college career. No question about it. Psycho T, they called him. Psycho T.
Because he did his thing with his eyes.
And he took a bloody nose against Duke.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he got him some war wounds. Yeah, we definitely got him some war wounds. Well, try to say that 5 times fast. All right, we got Craig Burns. He said, I only follow college basketball for a brief time up here in Boston. Bill Walton from UCLA, another one for Patrick Ewing, University of Georgetown, Ralph Sampson and from Virginia, and Larry Bird from Indiana State were the players who amazed me. Side note, I also follow Patrick Ewing's high school career in Cambridge, Massachusetts, near Boston. Yep, so Patrick Ewing, Bill Walton, Ralph Sampson, and Larry Bird for his Mount Rushmore.
Not a bad name on that list either.
Yeah, that's a good solid one. All right, moving right along, we got Rodney Bellamy. He said, okay, here's my squad, kind of random. Heavy on the shooters, point guard Duke, Bobby Hurley, NCAA all-time assist leader, shooting guard J.J. Redick, ACC all-time three-point small forward Fletcher McGee, Wofford made most three-pointers all-time, power forward Christian Laettner, another one for that guy, who went to 4 Final Fours in 4 years, never will be done again. UMass, that's right, Marcus Camby. Yeah, Marcus Camby from UMass, because it's my team, and that is who I want at center. So we have J.J. Redick, Bobby Hurley, Fletcher McGee, and Marcus Camby.
Fletcher McGee, come on.
Yeah, Fletcher McGee, good old.
Come on, Rodney Bellamy. You could have had anybody ever. You could have had Shaq, and you took Fletcher McGee. I like the rest of your guys, Rodney.
We can see that he is also a Duke fan with 3 players from Duke on his. But hey, it's his choice. He went starting 5 instead of Mount Rushmore, and Duke got swept by UNC. All right, cool. Yes, sir.
Moving right along, we got Mark Olds. He says Carmelo Anthony, Sam Bowie, Pearl Washington, Charles Barkley, and Shaq. Starting 5. Yes.
Pearl Washington was a pretty good player. But, I don't really remember watching Shaq in college, though. I mean, I know he came out. He was playing right around the same time Ewing and those guys were. I just don't really remember much about Barkley in college. I mean, I know he had a good college career. I just don't personally remember watching him in college. I don't remember him being like as touted as some of the other guys.
Shaq, I'm gonna come get you. I'm gonna throw this chicken wing at you.
But how about Sam Bowie, though? He was a great college player to the tune of getting picked before Jordan.
Yeah, we see how that turned out.
Yeah.
Yeah, we see all good how it turned out. And Carmelo Anthony, who's still playing to this very, very day. All right, Mike Davis, he says Larry Johnson, Shaq, Ray Allen, Chris Webber, and Glenn the Big Dog Robinson.
Starting 5.
Oh, yeah.
Big Dog was nice. He was tough.
Yep, the Big Dog was nice.
So
he played for Purdue, right?
Yes.
Okay. He's a Boilermaker.
Yep.
Oh, go ahead, Be Live.
And I'll say I'm gonna have to go after this show. I'm gonna have to go back and look up Shaquille O'Neal. I'm with you, Scotty D. I just remember him being very skinny at LSU, but I did not see that dominating force because he ended up bulking up a lot when he got into the NBA and single-handedly changed the game of basketball, and to the tune of that he doesn't even recognize it. He was talking with Candace Parker on TNT the other day, and Candace Parker had to school him on the changes of basketball, the way the modern game is played. Because guess what? You scared big men from coming into the paint. So what did they start doing? They started shooting 3-pointers. Now all of them are. That was because of Shaq. That was it.
And also when he was in college, they were facing a lot more zone. And he got to the NBA and it's man-to-man. The rules have changed in the NBA as well. But when he first got to the NBA, it was man-to-man or you double him or get illegal defense. Remember the old illegal defense rule in the NBA? So I think actually at that point, the pro game was better suited for Shaq.
Right. Absolutely.
Shaq was just big, just large, just changing the game on all
and
levels.
Very athletic.
Yeah.
Very athletic.
Yeah. And like to the point where they had to reconfigure how they made goals.
Yeah.
How many did he break? God, they had to just hold on, wait a minute, bro. You just killing the backboards. Just tearing stuff apart.
You cost us too much money. You cost us too much money. We got to have these 2 goals for 42 games in this home arena. You can't be tearing up stuff, man. You're breaking stuff and tearing up stuff. All right, moving right along. We got Joe Gafkin, Joey Buckets. He said my personal top 5, not Mount Rushmore, personal top 5 that I witnessed would be number 1, Patrick Ewing, number 2, Juan Dixon. Oh, I remember him. Number 3, Steph Curry. Number 4, Danny Manning. And number 5, the Admiral himself, David Robinson.
Oh, yeah, Robinson. How do we miss him? He was nuts at Navy, man.
Yep.
There's nothing wrong with this list, except for the fact there's 5 and we asked for 4. But me and Joey Buckets had already discussed this, and I'm like, hey, I gotta come at you, but don't follow instructions. But you know what? When it comes to Joey Buckets, he's one of my favorites. Absolutely, it's actually been a pleasure to get to know him and everything, even though it's just over social media and everything. Dude is an avid follower. We definitely appreciate it. And these are great answers.
We appreciate you, Joe. We appreciate you now more than ever. Rolling right along, fellas. We got a few more. David Romito, he says Carmelo Anthony, Danny Manning, Chris Webber, Grandmama, and Kenny Toomer.
Oh my goodness, I didn't see this. Kenny Toomer played at our school. We went to California University of Pennsylvania. And when I was in school, we were number one in the country and ended up losing in the Final Four. And he was our starting center. So I hadn't even noticed he put that. Shout out to Cal U Vulcans, Dave Ramito. Love you, brother.
Wow, we just got a pretty dope, cool history lesson. That's
Yeah.
what's up. All right, Stephen Delamore, he said Carmelo Anthony, Kevin Durant, Kemba Walker, and Allen Iverson.
Okay.
Absolutely nothing wrong with that list as well.
Yep.
The only thing with KD is I don't think he did enough in college for a long enough time. He only played 1 year, right? One season at Texas.
Yeah, it was real short. It was real brief.
Very brief. Didn't Melo only play 1 year?
Yeah, but he won a national championship in that year and looked amazing. That's why I actually considered him on my list, but I kind of held the 1 year thing against him as well. But
yeah.
What about Trey Duke?
Oh, Trey Duke. With the foolishness, he said Tony Romo, and there's a picture, and there's a picture of Tony Romo and three sad looking dudes, looking like he just found him on the corner. Man, y'all boys want to play some basketball?
Oh, and Trey, I hope you're listening to this episode, brother, because you probably already liked what I said at the beginning. Bro, we're gonna have to go to therapy, I think, go over this Dak Prescott thing. I love you, bro, but relax, man. Relax. I think I already said it for us.
Now you telling him to relax after all that
relax.
mess you get?
Yeah, I'm telling him to relax. Yeah.
Wow. I'm gonna make sure
gotta relax. Can't take the stuff too serious.
Yeah. All I gotta say to that notion is that I am the greatest troll ever, and yes, I am. Yes, you're very welcome. Eddie Cool, Amtrak this thing. Oh, here we go.
I got a Matty Ice answer too. I believe he must still be in Facebook jail. Not to recap what we learned last week, but he went with Chris Mullins from St. John's.
Okay.
Isaiah Thomas, another stud national championship winner. The X-Man Xavier McDaniel, and being the true New England guy that he is, he also went Marcus Camby. Someone else mentioned Marcus Camby too, and Marcus Camby actually was nasty at UMass.
Oh yeah. I do not dispute any of those answers whatsoever. Thank you, Matty Ice, and I'm gonna put some money on your books. Free Matty Ice.
Hashtag free Matty Ice, baby. We need you back. We need you back now. Ooh, more than ever. All right, with that being said, let's go ahead and give a big shout out to Steven, David, Joe Gafkin, Mike, Mark Olds, Rodney, Craig, William, JR, Uncle Max, Sean, and Joel for their participation in this week's edition of the Choices of the Voices. Scotty D, who's on your Mount Rushmore?
I wish I would have gone with the starting five because Carmelo didn't make the cut, Kemba Walker didn't make the cut, Chris Webber didn't make the cut. And it pains me because the guy that I cannot stand the most in college basketball history was Christian Laettner, and I had to put him on this list because he was a force at Duke, and they just won while he was there. So I got Christian Laettner. I also went with Larry Johnson, Grandmama, because he was dominant at UNLV, and he wasn't even the biggest dude on his team. I went with Danny Manning because at Kansas, he made a run like Carmelo did, like Carmelo and Kemba Walker, where they just carried a team to a national championship. And my first favorite college basketball player ever was Ralph Sampson because he was, you just couldn't do anything with him at the collegiate level. He played for Virginia, and he was just dominant. I actually think that the correct list probably is Bill Walton, Lou Alcindor, David Thompson, and Laettner. But I didn't see those other three guys play, and I'm just going strictly on guys that I saw play. So that's my list, guys. Manning, Laettner, Grandmama, and Sampson. Be Live, who you got?
My first three, I'm going to go ahead and let you know that I broke the rule when it comes to the fourth player. But I'm going to name the first three. A couple of them were already mentioned. Kemba Walker, man, just big shot after big shot. And I feel like he literally took that team on his back to win that natty. JJ Redick. I put JJ Redick over Christian Laettner because that dude just lit it up. And I despise Duke, and I especially despise JJ Redick because of how good he was. He lit up. Like, that dude is a pure deadly shooter, and man, oh man. And there's a reason why he is number 2 all time in ACC scoring. Number 2 all time, JJ Redick. My surprise pick that nobody even mentioned, and this is a little bit of fanboy in me, and everybody sees that I'm a diehard Clemson fan. But growing up, I watched North Carolina basketball, and there's one guy that excited me more than anybody that I watched. Ty Lawson. That guy at the point guard position at North Carolina, man, oh man, lightning quick. You could not stop how fast that team ran up and down the court, and it was led by Ty Lawson. And it was literally lightning in a bottle. This guy was ridiculously fast. Unfortunately, it did not equate to the pros, but man, in college, Ty Lawson almost could not be stopped. The 4th guy I picked, I did not watch him play in college, but I had the liberty and the luxury of having the opportunity to play on the same court that he did in college, and that is the Admiral, David Robinson, at Alumni Hall at the United States Naval Academy. I didn't play D1, but I played intramurals. And the championship game for intramurals was played at Alumni Hall, and we ended up winning the championship. I was actually picked as the MVP for the game. This was back in 2000, and it was like literally surreal being able to play on the same court as the Admiral, and just what he means to the United States Naval Academy. I had to put him on my Mount Rushmore just because of the connection that
put yourself on too.
No, it was intramural.
Because when it comes to 3-point shooting, you were deadly with it.
I wouldn't.
I learned that watching your video last week. You were deadly with it.
I was pretty good. Like,
right.
Life took a different turn. Like, I actually made the B team in 7th grade, where most players only make it in the 8th grade year. So I was well ahead of the curve. And then I got a C in English, and my mom pulled me from the basketball team. And then, that's where my basketball career sort of went a different direction. But I was actually really good. And somebody mentioned Bobby Hurley, by the way. Mm-hmm. Somebody mentioned Bobby Hurley. Actually, part of my shooting prowess is because I actually went to a basketball camp featuring Bobby Hurley, and he was the first person to teach me how to shoot, like to be very proficient with it. Like, he taught us that only use one hand to shoot the ball, and you would start literally like it would almost be a layup, but you'd shoot with one hand, no guide, because this is just a guide. You should not be in your focal point when you're shooting. But I could go on and on for that. But Bobby Hurley was actually the person that taught me how to shoot. So that's definitely an honorable mention for me. Yes, I learned how to shoot from a Dookie. Yeah, I said it. All right, Eddie Cool Amtrak this thing, but hey, it is what it is.
Deadly with it.
Yep, Dookie, stanky. All right, so my Mount Rushmore, I really didn't figure it out until yesterday. It's been life happens. There's been a lot going on, but just understand, everybody, I'm A-okay. I'm fine. As B-Live mentioned, we lived in ACC country, and we watched a heavy dose of ACC basketball. As a matter of fact, all of the 90s, the ACC had some of the best college basketball anywhere you want to see it. I've seen the likes of the teams they had in North Carolina, but one guy I really liked was Tim Duncan from Wake Forest. So he's on my Mount Rushmore. Also, I'm gonna have to go with a Dookie. Grant Hill, pre-pro, pre-injury Grant Hill. He was a pretty big damn deal. and he was a part of a lot of Duke success teams as well too. Of course, I'm going to have to go with AI, the one, the only Allen Iverson, because Allen Iverson was a bad man. Oh, he was a bad dude. He was shaking them and baking them back then. And number 4, I'm going to have to say Kemba Walker, because Kemba, something about that performance that Kemba Walker had that year in the Big East tournament, and he kept that momentum, and it went all the way to a national championship. How could you not?
Yeah.
How could you not? I mean, his body of work was good up until that point, but it was that one defining moment in his career where it went from here to through the damn roof. So so Kemba Walker, he's on the Mount Rushmore too. And I ain't got 5 because I know how to count. I paid attention in school. All right.
Well, we appreciate y'all for giving us the bonus. You didn't only give us 4, you gave us bonus. So thank you guys. We appreciate that.
And a quick note, Scott, you spoke about it before, but Tyler Hansbrough is the all-time leading scorer in the ACC.
Okay, I thought he might have been.
Yeah, he's with 2,872 points. Second to him is J.J. Redick with 2,769, and then it drops down from there. Rodney Monroe with 2,551. But yeah, Tyler Hansbrough is the all-time leading scorer in the ACC, which is a really, really big deal.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Yep, that doggone Psycho T. All right, Scotty D, what's the question for next week's Choices of the Voices?
All right, sticking with college basketball because it is championship week, and we'll be answering this next week. We'll be talking this over after the brackets have already been announced. So we're going to stick with college basketball. What college basketball coach do you most enjoy watching lose? We're dipping into some hate next week, some anger. What college basketball coach do you most enjoy taking an L? And that's our topic for next week for episode 100.
Episode 100, $250 bills.
I was going to ask for your 100 best college basketball players since we couldn't figure out Rushmore, but we're going to go with this one instead.
Look, they were pushing with 5, so I'm pretty sure they probably could give us 100.
Yeah.
All right, that's it. Pardon me. That's it for this week's edition of Choices of the Voices.